please remain standing. I'd like to invite Naya Bors and Indigo Fish to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated.
You might want to stay standing. Sorry, we have the Star Spangled Banner. It's not Naya's fault. Forgot to practice. I'm the proud principal of Cornwall Consolidated School. This is my first year as principal here, and boy, what a year. I think we can all agree on that. It has been quite a year, and I am just so excited that this day is here because when school started, it was not easy. We weren't sure what was going to happen. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to have students in school, and we were able to have them here the majority of the time, so it has been the best experience for everybody. And we are so excited for this moment to celebrate with all of you, because you deserve it. Before we start, I just need to share a few logistical details. Please make sure we're wearing masks around others that are not in your group and that we're keeping the proper social distance. When you're in your pod area, you're welcome to take your mask off. But it's, we've made it this far with these mitigation strategies, so we want to make sure we continue. So it's my pleasure to welcome the CCS faculty, the Cornwall Board of Education, parents, siblings, friends, loved ones, and most importantly, our 8th grade graduates. To the 221 Cornwall Consolidated School graduation ceremony. Thank you to everyone gathered here today to witness and celebrate this special occasion. Every one of you has made an impact on the graduates who sit here today, and in some way by your actions and your support. For the past year, these fine young people have led our morning announcements and started our day on a positive note. A favorite part of these announcements for many of us adults when we were listening was their insightful interpretations to a weekly quote. We shared quotes with them and they had to speak right off the top of their head as to what those quotes mean, and they were very powerful for their young peers to listen to. These quotes were based on the habits of mind, which helped us all to reflect on what it means to be a strong person, academically, socially, and emotionally. We focus on skills that we all need today, like perseverance. Today at 3:30, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was ready to pack it up and go home. I was like, I cannot do this anymore, the rain is pouring down, how are we going to do this? But we pulled together, we wiped off the chairs, and we said, we're doing this today, because that's perseverance, right? Thinking flexibly, we had to think how we're going to do this differently this year. And we have our pods, and we can still do it safely. Remaining open to continuous learning, those are just a few that we focused on this year. And please remember as we go on, that learning is important, but it's also important to embrace mistakes. We don't need to be perfect, right? We can learn from them. Always ask questions. You guys are very good at advocating for yourself. I know that because you always advocate to me about things. You don't always get the answer you want, right? But I love it that you're advocating and you're always looking out for things, and you also do it respectfully. Be a caring person that looks out for others. CCS is a small community that does that every single day. Bring that with you always so that you can change the world, because that's what we need right now. And now it is my honor to introduce Rose Fitch, who's going to share some words with you about her time at CCS.
Alright, hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rose Fitch. I've gone to CCS now for 8 years, and it's been an important part of my life ever since I joined this school in the first grade. I joined the class a year later than many of my friends, but I was quickly accepted by a fun-loving and chaotic class. Since then, I've made lots of memories with my amazing peers that have been by my side every step of the way. In my time here, I've made some of my closest friends, and I've gotten so much support from some of the spectacular teachers here. They have helped me through everything, from learning spelling and addition in first grade to writing essays and being prepared for high school next year. I feel like our class has gotten really close in my time going to this school. To start off, the shenanigans of a school musical every year have always been a highlight of my time here. Figuring out costumes, rushing to make your spot on stage, and slightly off-key singing during rehearsals is a surprisingly great way to bond with people. I've also made so many great memories on our various field trips. I remember arguing over who got to keep the life-size plaster mold of a dinosaur footprint in 3rd grade, and a more recent field trip to the adventure park and escape room. I feel seriously bad for the number of times we drove our poor bus driver crazy with all our fooling around on the way to our I don't know how you can go through so many things and be together for so long with such a small group of people and still end up not being as close as our class is. Last year, we went and are still going through a pandemic that hit us out of nowhere, as you all know. We were not prepared to be flung into quarantine and online school, but we worked through it together in the end with tons of help from our teachers who all played big roles in helping us get through the rough times in the past few years. Seriously, I wouldn't have been able to make it through the first stages of distance learning without all their support. Every year in Cornwall has brought new experiences and more obstacles that our class had to overcome. Each grade brought new and unfamiliar subjects to learn about. As we went to middle school for the first time, we started to have more schoolwork and more tasks to do. Of course, this helped us a ton in preparing us for high school. Our teachers have done so much to make sure that we are ready when we take our steps into our new school next year. As for advice for students making their way through elementary and middle school here, I advise you to always try and persevere. You might feel like giving up on a big project or rushing through a test, but I can say that will almost always be even more stressful than just getting it done. I have definitely had times where I struggled getting through what felt like tons of work. Also, always remember to ask for help when you need it. The teachers are there to help you. Now, in my last year of CCS, I'm realizing how much I'll miss when I go off to high school. I know everything will be harder, and I'm going to have to give my all every day. My classmates are kind of like family at this point, and I hope we can all stay in touch as we go our separate ways. Except for you guys that are going to Hoosie, I'll be stuck with you for a while longer. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rose. That was amazing. It was really wonderful. I mean, it was nice to hear those themes that I just talked about. We did not write our speech together, and it was connected so well. So next we have some awards to present. First I'm going to invite to the podium Mr. Tim Naylor. He's representing the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post number 9856 to present the Citizenship Award.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here to see our young students moving on. Principal, I was wondering at 4 o'clock if I was going to be here either. The river was rising. Keep in mind that 1 inch of rain on an acre of land is 27,000 gallons of water. So I was worried. It's great to be invited back again to give this award. I've had the opportunity to do this probably, I don't know, about 8 or 10 years now. Last year, we weren't able to meet and do this, but just so everybody knows, Hudson Sabrenick got the Citizenship Award last year. He got it a few months late. It was delivered in his driveway, but we managed to get it done. You know, look, everybody had to step up this year. Ladies and gentlemen, it was just a little, everybody had to forge ahead, had to give just a little bit more. It wasn't easy on you, it wasn't easy on your teachers, it wasn't easy on your parents. But anyway, the point is there's always someone who stands out in the crowd just a little bit. Not taking anything away from anybody else, but there's just always someone with that little bit of notice. So this year, on behalf of the Berkshire VFW Post 9243, Citizenship Award presented to Cornwall Consolidated School graduate, Alistair Taft.
Thank you, Mr. Naylor. I would now like to invite Mrs. Iris Herman, granddaughter of Dorothy Herman, who was the CCS secretary for 27 years here, to the podium to present the next award, which is the Dorothy Herman Memorial Award.
Hi everyone. So this award is given to the student who best exemplifies the qualities of Dorothy Herman. As Mary Kay said, the devoted school secretary for 27 years. She had a long career here and she really, really loved it. And it's also an honor to be able to bring her 4th great-grandchild to the graduation today. The student who best exemplifies consideration, kindness, helpfulness, showing exemplary amounts of caring, cheerfulness, thoughtfulness, dependability, and who is generous of time and self gets this award. And when I found out who it was, of course it was her. She nailed it as the hippo in the school play last year. She plays taps at the Memorial Day services. She donated her beautiful hair, and in every picture that I got to see as a Board of Ed member of the morning announcements, she's on the phone presenting it to the rest of the school. Anytime you see this girl, she is walking around carrying someone else's child, sometimes more than one at a time. And all the other kids are following behind her, waiting for their chance. You always have to listen when the kids like somebody. It seems like every vacation she got, she went to Pine Ridge to do volunteer work. So, Eliza Ann Tyson, it is an honor to
Thank you, Iris. And you were a rock too. Rock star. She just had the baby last week. She's here today.
5 days old.
Thank you for coming and thank you for presenting that. Next, I have the honor of presenting the next award, which is the Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. This award is given to an 8th grader who had the highest academic achievement. And this year, we actually had a tie. So I'm very excited that I get to present 2 of these. So the first one is to Manny Matsudaira. And the second award of the same award, Outstanding Academic Achievement, goes to Alistair Taft. Congratulations. Our last award tonight is the Cornwall Board of Education Volunteer Award. And Mrs. Emily Pryor, who is our Cornwall Board of Education Chair, will announce that award recipient.
Hi, everybody. Such a pleasure to be here with you all. The CCS Board of Education Volunteer Award recognizes an outstanding member of the Cornwall community who has given their time, energy, and commitment to help make the Cornwall School a better place. This year we honor a wonderful parent and volunteer who has contributed so much to our school. She serves on the Board of Education as Vice Chair and as wordsmith extraordinaire on our Policy Committee. She is also on the board of the CCS Fund for Excellence. As our school year began last fall in very challenging circumstances, she spearheaded a lovely creative project to enliven the desk spaces for our younger students. Desk vehicles, the Jeeps, submarines, and the spaceships help make distancing a whole lot more fun. While additional teachers and students were involved, without this woman, it just never would have happened. It is my great pleasure to give this year's Board of Education Volunteer Award to Iris Herman.
Thank you, Emily. Congratulations, Iris. So it was especially important she was here because we had 2 things going on with her, which was great. So the next, our next speaker is Omar Ahmed Alghanim, who joined CCS this year, and he has some words to share about CCS and how he's feeling today.
Hello everyone. My name is Omar. Right now I take a deep breath in, trying to make today last forever. I hope next year I'll make new friends like these, but I know I'll never will. Right now it's the last time we'll all be standing here, each and every one trying not to shed a tear. Right now is the day we have anticipated. We've waited all year for it to come. Now it's here, but it's slipping away, almost ready to be done. Right now I'm anxious for high school to go learn new things, but only our choices brought out from our brains. Right now my knees are shaking, scared to take this leap into our future. I'm ready if you are. We all are quiet and unsure. Right now a tear is ready to fall down my cheek. Then a voice in my head seems to say, put a smile on, it's graduation day. Right now I take a deep breath in, trying to make this moment last forever. Right now it's the best day of my life. I'm happy we got through this together. Congratulations, CCS Class of 2021.
Thank you, Omar. We're so glad you joined us. So right now I'm going to invite Emily Pryor back to the podium to introduce our guest speaker for tonight.
It is my privilege to introduce our guest graduation speaker. Ted Cheney was raised in the village of Cornwall, along with his brothers Rusty and Tyler, and older sister Hope. All 4 of them attended CCS. After leaving CCS and graduating from Housatonic Valley Regional High School, Ted spent time in the West and in Alaska pursuing his love of the outdoors, particularly backcountry skiing in challenging terrain. In Alaska, he guided heli skiers down glaciers and other extreme locations while based in the small town of Haines. He also worked as a chef and more recently on the town crew of Haines. Ted and his wife Catherine have 3 children. Winter and Isabella attend CCS, and their youngest boy, Taylor, will be joining kindergarten this fall. Ted and his family moved back to Cornwall last winter, where he works for the town road crew. Some of Ted's best friends and classmates from CCS are still here in Cornwall. Ted, welcome back to CCS, and thank you very much for being our speaker this afternoon.
Thank you for having me here tonight. 24 years ago, I sat where you are now. I was eager and ready to move on to the next chapter of my life. I remember that after graduating, there were still a few days of school left. As an 8th grader, one of our privileges is that we could paint on the walls of the art room. The day after graduation, I came to school to finish my painting, but the building felt different to me. It would no longer be the place that I would be going to. Next year when I got up, the bus would not take me here. I would not see my friends at this school anymore. I would have different classmates and in a new place. Sports would be played on a different field, and some other teacher would be kicking me out of class. The building felt different because my time here was over. This place was in the past. Now I had to start using the things that I learned here. My father and mother lived in Cornwall for over 40 years. I grew up in the village when it was the campus for Marvelwood School. As mentioned, my older brother and sister spent kindergarten through 8th grade here at CCS. When my brother Rusty graduated, he got so many awards that his friends teased him by singing, "It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas." He went on to Salisbury and later graduated from Dartmouth and Ivy League College. My sister Hope graduated from Hotchkiss and Colorado College and is now a writer. Furthermore, my younger brother Tyler graduated first in his class from Hobart William Smith. And then there's me. Out of all my siblings, when it came to school, the only record I had was how many times I've been sent to the principal's office. Once in first grade, when the teacher asked us to label all the bones we could on a picture of a skeleton, I returned it with a more anatomically correct version. Mrs. Grant was not amused. In fact, there might be some teachers still here today that taught me. So, Mrs. S., if you are here, I'm sorry. I will admit I was a little surprised when I was asked to be the speaker for this year's graduation. I thought, man, they must be desperate. However, all joking aside, this has offered me a unique opportunity to reflect on how CCS has shaped my life. And I'm truly honored to be here. I graduated in 1997, and now my son and daughter both attend school here at CCS. My wife and I have been living in Alaska for the last 13 years and moved here to Cornwall last February, right before the pandemic. Perfect timing. As a family, we were struggling to adjust to our new surroundings while at the same time jumping the daily hurdles that the coronavirus threw at us. As it was for them, it was a hard school year for everyone. Through my children, I saw how hard everyone had to work to get where we are today. This is something to be proud of. It is fitting that as we overcome the pandemic, you graduates are also taking a major advance in your lives. I would not only like to acknowledge the accomplishments of the class of 2021, but also how adaptable the parents, teachers, and teachers of these students had to be. I commend the extra effort that was put forth to achieve success in such a challenging year. Freshman year will be a breeze after this. The problem-solving techniques you have learned during this time will give you an advantage in the future. In fact, all your time spent here at CCS will also give you an advantage, although that may not be clear just yet. Trust me when I say that the lessons you have learned here will stick with you for the rest of your lives. While this is also true about your pursuits in the future, your time spent here really is the foundation for those endeavors. In preparation for tonight, I was flipping through my CCS yearbook. I hoped it would remind me of what CCS was like for me. It did. 24 years removed, and I can still see how CCS shaped my foundation. One of the great things when I attended school was that Mohawk Mountain would generously give seasons passes to the students in the 4th grade and above. This immediately got generations of kids hooked on skiing and caused parents to up their insurance. CCS had led me to my passion, skiing. The season's pass, however, came with a catch. In order to get your pass for awesome downhill skiing, you had to complete 1 year of obviously less cool cross-country skiing. The winter I learned to cross-country ski was a bleak one. Not only were my friends on the mountain shredding without me, but the lack of natural snow had confined us cross-country skiers to the gym. Our PE teacher, Miss Loy cleverly lined the floor with mats. We spent agonizing days sliding on the synthetic surface, learning the kick and glide, herringbone, and how to sidestep uphill. While my friends were having the times of their lives, I was being tortured, learning useless stuff that I would never use again. As it was for me then, it is often hard to see the value of a lesson as you are learning it. One nice thing about graduating is you can clearly see the reward of your hard work and the things you have learned. I continued to ski every winter throughout school and was the captain of the ski team my senior year at Boozy. Playing sports was my main motivation during school, and my passion for skiing led me to the University of Colorado. There in the Front Range, I fell in love with backcountry skiing and untracked powder snow. However, in college, I felt disconnected from the other students. My friends and classmates all seemed to have a plan in effect. They carefully picked a major and were taking classes to reach some goal in the future. I chose geology mostly because that's what my dad did. But unlike my peers, I could not see where I was going with my schoolwork. And again, the value of what I was doing was gone to me. I lost interest in my academics and my motivation slipped away. While others around me were very focused, I questioned what my goals were to begin with. I had no direction. After my sophomore year, I did not enroll in the next semester and moved deeper into the mountains of Crested View, Colorado. Through this confusing, hard time, the one thing that remained strong was the force that drew me to the mountains. I was fascinated by snow science and learned all I could about avalanches and how to read the snowpack and terrain in order to safely ascend and descend Colorado peaks. I read books, watched movies, and kept journals on every snowstorm throughout the winters. In short, I dropped out of college and became a ski bum. Believe it or not, I struggled with this choice. Traditionally, Cheenies had done very well in school and graduated college. I was going against the grain. I felt that I was letting my parents down. As I ventured into bigger mountains, they expressed their concern for my safety, and I felt I burdened them with worry. One of the things that I love about my dad is his ability to help me work through conflicting emotions. Although it was hard for him, he told me to march to the beat of my own drum. It was around this time that I learned about Alaska and helicopter skiing. In coastal Alaska, the mountains rise 8,000 feet out of the ocean. The frigid Arctic wind mixes with the moisture-laden air out of the Gulf of Alaska, and it coats some of the biggest, steepest peaks with the best snow in the world. The unique weather conditions create a snowpack that can stick to steeper terrain than anywhere else. The wind and relentless snow create features in the mountains that make them appear as if they're out of Dr. Seuss's Whoville. Due to these facts, ski and snowboard enthusiasts, as well as professional athletes, travel from all over the world to ride these mountains. Because of the remoteness of these peaks, the only way to access some of them is by helicopter. People pay thousands of dollars for a single day of heli skiing. It allows you to go to places where some human beings have never even been to. One job you can get is riding helicopters and taking people skiing. I knew what I wanted to do. I dreamt of being a helicopter ski guide, and in 2007, I moved to Haines, Alaska, over 3,000 miles away from here. Now, Haines is not just a place for crazy skiers. It is home to indigenous peoples who have lived there for centuries. They exist in harmony with the natural cycles of the salmon runs and the hunting season. Haines is also known for its mining history. Early pioneers flocked to Alaska by the thousands during the Klondike Gold Rush. Every spring, the snow melt washes gold from the very mountains that I was there to ski into the creeks below. 30 miles west of Haines is Porcupine Creek. It is the site of John Schnabel's gold claim. His grandson, Parker, is the star of the reality TV show Gold Rush, which was filmed there. Mining in Alaska is a lifelong endeavor. It takes ingenuity and countless cycles of trial and error. Most people do not succeed. The ones that do adapt to the challenges put before them. They do not give up. For every 10 failures they have one success that they build from. Before he passed away, John Schnabel said that it was not so much the gold, but the finding of the gold. Now, not all of us are cut out to be miners, but what I think that means is that no matter what you are passionate about, the process in which you do it is equally as important as the end result. The goal that I was seeking was power snow in the mountains and becoming a ski guide. The process of finding it taught me how to achieve my goals. I worked hard, I got training. I built my daily routine so I could focus my energy on being able to learn and take in all the skills necessary for guiding. Unlike my schoolwork, I was able to see tomorrow's results for the work that I put in today. Finally, I could see the value in the lessons I was learning. After years of education and hard work, I became a guide. One day, while taking a group of clients down a particularly long run, everyone was tired at the bottom. It was towards the end of the day, but we had time for one more run. I radioed to the helicopter pilot that we were ready to be picked up, and despite sore legs, the group wanted to go back to the top and do one more run. The pilot responded that the helicopter was broken down. There was no way for him to get to us. We were over 20 miles deep into the mountains, and hiking out before dark was not an option. We did not have the proper equipment to spend the night on a glacier in the middle of February. I told the group we had a problem. The joy and elation of the last ski run was replaced by panic and fear. Our options were limited, and we started to prepare for a long, cold night with the hopes that another heli could get to us in the morning. We began to empty our backpacks to see the resources we had. Our helicopter pilot was in the same predicament on the valley floor the next ridge over. As the sun started to go down, a call came out over the radio. There was a helicopter coming in from another company to get us. They were going to pick up the stranded pilot and then come back for us. Due to the fading light, we were in the shadows on the valley floor. By the time the helicopter would come back, it would be too dark to land. The pilot said the only way to get us is if we ascended a steep ridge to get to the opposing side, which would still be in the light. We had to get moving quickly. The deep snow made it impossible to walk out. We needed to have skis to distribute our weight in order to stay on top of the snow. The frightened clients struggled to gain any ground. As our options were running out, as well as the daylight, I remembered the herringbone sidestep that Mrs. Logan taught me so many years ago. I shared that information with the clients, and we were able to reach the waiting helicopter safely. The useless stuff that I knew I would never use in real life came back to save us. The finding of my gold led me to my wife and to also the most rewarding thing in my life, which is my family. At heart, I'm still a ski bum though. The pursuit of my passion has made me live a good life. After my guiding career, I got a job on the Haynes Public Works crew, and I learned how to operate heavy machinery. And with that experience, it allowed me to get a job here and return to Cornwall. For that, I'm grateful. 24 years ago, I stood where you are now. Your parents and teachers have all been here too. We can give you advice and guidance to help you on your way, but ultimately, while the path you are on is one that we know, you are the ones who are walking it now. There is a big difference. I encourage you to turn to each other for support. The ones that you share this path with will help you in ways that we cannot. Follow your passions. Do not cheat. Achieve your goals in a righteous way. Whatever the goal it is that you seek, CCS has gotten you off to a good start. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Ted, I just can't do that. I have to be honest, I was a little nervous when I saw your pile of papers. I was like, boy, how long is he talking tonight? But you had us. It was amazing. Well, thank you so much. And I think that encapsulates everything that we've been talking about at CCS, right? Think about flexible thinking, using what you know. That was just amazing. So thank you. And I'm sorry, guys, you can take off your mask. I put you 6 feet apart so you don't have to have your mask on. So you can have your, no? Okay. Whatever you're comfortable with, we're good. Okay, so now for the presentation of the diplomas that we are here for. Mrs. Pryor and I are going to have the honor of presenting the diplomas tonight. Now, as each graduate is announced and comes forward to receive their diploma, please hold your applause because we have written a tribute to each of them. So it's about 3 sentences, so let us say our little tribute. It's going to come from the back, from the teachers. And then after that said, please clap for your graduate, or for the graduates, please. Marcus? Our first graduate, Pedro Adrian Aguali.
Pedro.
Oh, hold on, we have your tribute coming, sorry, a little technical.
Pedro.
There we
We
go.
are so happy that you joined our CCS 8th grade this year. It is sometimes difficult to come to an established group, but you are willing to jump right in and become engaged in not only learning, but working well with your new class. You are friendly, kind, responsible, and an artist. Speaking of your skills as an artist, your Explorations project on capturing the close-up wonders of nature was beautiful.
Indigo Sky Fitch.
Indigo is a critical thinker about the world around her, and also an imaginative and creative author. She loves to read and often recommends great books to others. She cares deeply about what is right and what makes sense to her, and she also has a wicked sense of humor. She's brave enough to step out of her comfort zone even when that's really hard to do. And most importantly, she's kind and caring to those around her. You are awesome, Indigo.
Omar Ahmad Algan.
Omar was a wonderful addition to the class this year, quickly becoming a friend to many with his kind manner and love of athletics. He's curious and determined to fully understand his academic work. He asks good questions and seeks to develop his skills, showing strength, adaptability, and persistence, both in the classroom and on the basketball court.
Rose Phoenix Fitch.
Rose is kind, caring, and helpful. She is thoughtful and artistic. Her quiet wisdom comes through in her beautiful art. Although she doesn't enjoy the spotlight for herself, although you did so amazing with our speech, Rose is a reliable, supportive friend who delights in everyone's successes. Her ability to think critically, make connections, and collaborate make her the perfect team player.
Joshua DeForest Benjamin.
Josh is always seeking out something new to learn. He challenges himself and he sticks with what he starts. He's not the loudest person in the room and often chooses his words carefully, but is always worth listening to. Josh, keep up the great work and let me know what you think of the end of Beowulf.
Manasa Matadura.
Manny enjoys a challenge. Whether it's on the soccer field or in the classroom, Manny continually works to improve his skills. He's a critical thinker, but one who is open to new ideas and willing to change his point of view. Manny's confidence and outgoing personality have supported his talents as an actor and singer, who is Alex in Madagascar, and using his amazing language skills, he'll comfortably and quickly make friends any place in the world.
Naya Love Khan Forst.
Naya really cares about the world and feels deeply about others. It's one of her passions. Much of her non-curricular and curricular focus has revolved around empathy and understanding and seeking ways to help others, like her walk for mental health. Some of her other passions include singing, art, and literature, and we're going to miss you.
Alistair James Philophes Teff.
Alistair is a friend to all. He is always helpful, kind, polite, and can always be found with a smile on his face. He is driven to learn as much as he can, is open-minded, and clearly articulates his thoughts and opinions. Alistair is also an artist through both visual arts and performing arts, as showcased through his Explorations project and his performances as Michael Banks in Mary Poppins and Marty in Madagascar.
some of this is in a language called middle school list. Tristan is no noob. In fact, his musical and artistic creativity may be described as fire. King Julian stepped it up as a leader this year from his approaches to science challenges to researching historical topics. His tech skills are so Gucci they might have you say yeets or sheesh, depending on if he's hacking you or not. He loves fast cars, and Tristan is always hoping to out others and is always up for learning new things. My guy, you are among us and not a sussy sus. Let's go!
Eliza has grown tremendously through all her years at CCS. Eliza is dedicated to her studies, always striving to do her best, and striving to learn more through observing and questioning. She has also proven herself as an artist in many ways, both through her visual art and her performances on the stage, and as an athlete on the soccer field, basketball court, and on the ski slopes.
Lawrence Crouch.
I may not be alone here, but I think today is actually the first time I've ever seen Sydney in person, which feels strange to say since he's been my student for the last year. Despite this, I feel like I've gotten to know him pretty well this year, and that's saying a lot for someone who's been a distance learner for the entire school year. The maturity and self-abdication that Sydney has shown this year speaks to the success I'm sure he will have in all his future endeavors.
Emil Zenon Urbanowitz.
To say Emil has grown in the last 7 years I've known him doesn't just apply to the somewhat alarming and impressive growth spurts that he's experienced. To get from the quiet little boy of second grade to the young man he is today has taken hard work as he's learned perseverance, diligence, and the willingness to ask for help when he needs it. He is friendly, funny, polite, and kind, a true citizen of the 8th grade, and, as a classmate pointed out, the center of the class.
So that is our 12 graduates. Let's have a really loud round of applause. There are still things to learn. I was thinking about the tassel, and we have to switch it, right? And I was like, why do we do that? So I did some research last night, and I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but the symbolism of the tassel is that some people believe the reason why you place the tassel on the right is because you earned the right to graduate. Then you move the tassel to the left after graduating because it's a symbolic move of crossing over from one stage of life to your next stage. So are you ready? It's time to move that tassel for high school. Go ahead. So we know you are more than ready for that. So before, I just want to say a few thank yous before concluding. Actually, Marshals, do you want to let our graduates say? Thank you. I'd like to thank a few people. A huge thank you to Richard Griggs, who is the Cornwall's resident videographer extraordinaire. He came here and he's taking this for us today. So thank you so much. So everyone can enjoy it. A tremendous thank you. I cannot say this enough to the staff. I would like them all to stand up, please. It has been every day they came in, smile on their face. face is ready to go, and I'm ready to do the best for our students. I can't say enough about that. So I'm so grateful for you guys every single day, so thank you. I'd like to thank our 2 grade 7 marshals, Stephen Barber and Andra West. I'd like to thank Lisa Carter, our superintendent, and all of our Board of Ed members. And of course, the biggest thanks goes to all of the parents out there of our wonderful grade 8 students. You have done an amazing job. They are tremendous young people, and they are ready to go out there and make some difference. So thank you. We have a few more surprises for you guys, and you probably saw the pizza truck. It was supposed to be a surprise, but didn't think about having it set up. So we have pizza for you guys, and you can have a great time out in the field and spread out with your family. We also have a little bag that I didn't want to, it was wet, so I will be coming around and handing you a bag of gifts from the Board of Education as well as the school. So thank you all. If everybody could just stay where they are, what we're going to do is have our marshals walk the graduates out, and then they'll be out in the fields, and we can meet up with them out there. We're going to make them stand.